What's up, everybody? It's J and J with Justin and Jordan. What we got today, Justin?
So today, I actually don't know what we got today.
You don't know what we got today. So we're making up things on the fly. There's some pretty big news out there, bro. There's some big ass news, some new rules.
Yeah, rules.
Some criminal activity.
Yeah.
I mean, we do got some news. I definitely, because I've been talking about it for months now, I definitely want to talk about the new rules. What's the new rules looking like right now, Justin?
We could start off with the new rules. I'm about to find it real quick, and then I'll just read it off to you.
Man, I'm loving it. For anyone not aware, while Justin looks up the specific rules, load managing, you're going to start getting punished for it. Fucking finally. Shit is like 7 years too late right now. But at least it's finally happening. We already know who's going to suffer the most from this. I believe Justin's going to read off to me right now. I believe the first time you get charged like 100 bans, then 250 bans, and 1 million. And then after that, it just keeps going up every time you rest your stars. So hit me with it. Hit me with the official rules.
All right, so the new rules. No more than one star player is unavailable for the same game.
Perfect.
The second one is teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV and in-season tournament games.
Perfect.
Teams must maintain a balance between the number of one-game absences for a star player in home games and road games, with the preference of those absences to happen in home games.
Mm-hmm.
Teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a player stops participating in games or plays in a materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the integrity of the game. For example, Damian Lillard, team is tanking, and they're trying to shut him out. Teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans. The player played in at least 65 regular season games. Oh, okay, that's the requirements to hit for awards and shit. This is league honor requirements. The player that played at least 62 regular season games suffered a season-ending injury and played in at least 85% of the regular season games played by his team prior to the player suffering said injury. Okay. The fine system. Yeah, you already detailed the fines. And yeah, that's basically all the rules right there.
I love it. And basically, there is the whole uproar. Well, what's a star? What's a star? They made sure to put a rule on that as well. If you made All-NBA or All-Star in the past 3 seasons, you are a star. And I don't know if you want me to go through every team here who counts as stars. I'll just go through the big ones. Of course, the Hawks, DeJounte Murray, Trae Young, Celtics, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum cannot both rest at the same time. The Bulls, DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic. The Cavs is kind of interesting. You cannot rest Jarrett Allen, Garland, Mitchell. Mavs, obviously, Kyrie and Luka. The Warriors. This one's kind of funny to me because you got Steph, obviously, Dre, which is kind of weird, Wiggins, and then CP3. You cannot be resting CP3 and Draymond Green at the same time. Two guys who
that's funny as fuck.
At this point in their career aren't really stars. So you can't rest Chris Paul and somebody else at the same time. And Chris Paul is going to need a lot of fucking rest this year. Of course, the guys who are going to get punished the most for this really, really, really hope that they actually start fucking playing now. The Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi can't pull this bullshit anymore. Paul George cannot pull this bullshit anymore. But I'm going to be real with you. I think they're still going to try to do it on the sole fact that Ballmer doesn't care about spending money, bro.
Yeah, he will spend the bread.
I think he'll spend the bread if Kawhi says, no, I'm going to sit down. He'll spend the bread, realistically speaking. Lakers, obviously, AD, LeBron. Bucks, Giannis, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. Timberwolves, another team, one of the few teams that has 4 stars. Mike Conley, Ant-Man, Cat, and Gobert all qualify for this. Can't rest 2 of them at the same time. What I love about this, the Knicks, we benefit. Jalen Brunson is not a star. He is not a star currently. Yeah. It's just Julius Randle.
Yep.
So you could rest Brunson and somebody else and just still have Randle out there. We're perfectly good on that, bro. We're chilling. Of course, the Suns, Beal, Devin Booker, Durant, And yeah, that's basically all like the most interesting ones. And especially we want to highlight kind of like the Clippers, who always load manage, the poster child from load managing. The Lakers, where AD gets hurt and LeBron's a little bit older. The Suns, because KD's in the latter stage of his career, and you know, D Book and Beal are gonna need some rest too at the same time when KD's hurt. But I'm really interested. I'm excited first and foremost about this rule. You know my frustrations with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard not playing games. It's been like a running joke since this pod has been on. Like, dude, like FanDuel needs over and under on how many combined games they're gonna play. And we say shit like less than 110. I'll take a bet on less than 110 for $500. Win that money back. I'll take some shit like that. But like I said before, I think the Clippers are gonna be one of the few teams that are gonna really like try to maneuver around it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like they would be the team to finesse a way around this situation.
It's gonna be a problem, but maybe Adam Silver comes down with the hammer really hard, or maybe he increases the fines or some shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
But damn, yo, the Clippers are gonna suffer. Clippers are really gonna suffer. Kawhi is probably pissed right now. He's looking at his phone, pissed off right now. I'll tell you that much right now. He's not gonna be too happy about this. I do like. I don't know how you feel. I do like how they have the whole thing set up with the stars, what a star is, right? And I believe after the All-Star game, if you were a star, so like Brunson, for example, he's going to be an All-Star. Once he makes that All-Star game, I'm pretty sure like the day after, he's now put in that category right next to Julius Randle.
Okay.
So that also helps things out too. So I like it. I understand at the start, like you have your outliers like CP3, you know, guys like that, Draymond, Gobert, but as time goes on, this is something you're going to be adjusting to. You feel me? And it's something you're going to constantly adjust to. And I want this rule to stay around forever. Players need to fucking play, bro.
No, yeah. I think this is a good move, especially for the fans and more specifically the casual fans. Because when you have games on that are nationally televised and you got two stars that are supposed to play, one of them is sitting out or both of them are sitting out for whatever reason, and now you just have to watch the product that's there. Mm-hmm. It's not really engaging for the casual fans. Like for us, we'll still watch it, we'll still tune in. But even then, I could admit that like I'll be tuned out. Like I don't really like if this certain player isn't there, I'm not really as in tune as I wanted to be before. So I think this is a really good move for the fans, because I remember in years past when Zion got drafted and they gave him mad nationally televised games. I know he was like legit hurt,
of course,
but like that shit kind of ruins it. Like when they just start giving you all these nationally televised games, and the sole reason why they gave you those games, that person is not even playing. So yeah, in that sense, it's actually a good thing. We'll see how this goes, like moving forward. Like we talked about, the Clippers might find a way to finesse and get their way, but I think this could be a thing that works. I don't know any teams that's really gonna try to take those fines, because like every team has. We just listed off. There's probably maybe half the league has 2 stars, according to their criteria.
Just about, yeah.
So you could afford resting one guy. Like you could. Some teams might implement where one guy sits out this night, another guy sits out that night. So we might see some things like that. That's the way to do it. I remember when Pop did this shit on a nationally televised.
Yes,
he started this shit low key.
And like it's smart sometimes, but it's gotten to a point where shit gets out of control, bro.
I don't mind you doing that, but like he did that shit in a prime time game against the Heat.
Bro, he does that shit all the time. He's like Tim Duncan, old. That's the reason he's fucking sitting out. Like, it's funny. It's funny sometimes. So I was like, fuck, man. Like, now we have everybody getting load managed for whatever fucking reason.
I would say though, if you got to do those at home games though. I feel like that's more. That's more.
And
fair.
I like that they mentioned that, because my thing is, imagine this, right? Clippers come into town twice a year as Knicks fans. Mm-hmm. The Garden's already expensive as hell. If we was to go watch the Knicks versus, I don't fucking know, the Wizards, that shit's already going to cost $60 minimum to be in the fucking nosebleed. So imagine the Clippers come into town and then Kawhi and PG are just like, you know what? We love sitting out all the time. Let's sit out this game. That's your one game in New York. You know, that's your one game against the Knicks. Let's say we used to shell out $150 fucking on that game. And guess what? Who are we watching? Westbrook, an aging Westbrook and Zubac, I'm good on that, bro.
Yeah,
That's why
I didn't pay to see that.
I would be pissed off. I'll be like, I need a fucking refund. I should be paying $40 for this game, bro. I'm not spending no $150 to watch the Clippers without PG and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Do that shit at home. You got 41 games at home, including for an extra 2 against the Lakers because those are technically home games too. So you got 43 games at home, bro. Do that shit at home. Don't do that shit when you go out east and for whatever reason, some kid whose favorite player is Paul George, his one time to see him in fucking Washington, in Miami, in New York, and now you sitting out. I'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'll be pissed off because at the end of the day, bro, the NBA is entertainment. It's athleticism, it's a competition, but it's entertainment. And D Wade has said it before. He said some shit along the lines of like, yeah, I miss the competing, but you know what I miss the most? Like being an entertainer. This is an entertainment business first and foremost, bro. So for guys to sit out games like that, I mean, we see signs of these kids all the time. Hey, like at the Grizzlies game, hey, I fucking flew in from China to see Ja, and like he's sitting out or some shit. You know, it's always some shit like that. I drove all the way, I don't know, from Kentucky to Washington D.C. to see LeBron, and LeBron's sitting out at the Wizards game. It's like, shit sucks. Especially that's when you're one chance of the year to see them. That shit sucks. And then the next year comes, try to go again. God forbid they rest again.
Yeah.
Anything to curb load management, I'm all for it. If this shit needs to be tweaked a little bit more because Steve Ballmer does some shit to go around it, I'm perfectly fine with that. A lot of people are kind of pissed off about it. The 11 Clipper fans out there in the world feel personally persecuted right now. I'm dead ass. Like those Twitter Clipper fans are like persecuted. Like, man, the world's against us, blah blah. But this is for the betterment of the league. Just first and foremost, this is to make the league better and more entertaining. I like that you emphasize national TV games because they don't, even though I would love for them to flex some shit, they don't really flex shit that often.
I think the NBA has to go. They only did it one time, but I remember the year after the bubble, they released the first half of the schedule, and then they waited, I think, till like around All-Star break, and then they released the second half. I wish they go back to doing that shit, cause like if God forbid one star player gets hurt in the beginning of the season, take out those national TV games later on.
Give it to someone else.
Give it to someone else, cause I am not trying to see 12 nationally televised games of a team and their star player's not even there. Like I remember, what was it, the 2020 Warriors when Curry fucked up his hand, Clay was out. KD was gone.
Draymond sitting out because he didn't want to compete without Steph.
Yeah, and he would play some games. Bro, that team had so many nationally televised. And it was just D-Lo. I hated that. Like, I hate when they do that shit. So I'm like, if you could flex the games somehow, I feel like that would be the way to go. Start with the first half of the season schedule first, then see how teams play out. And sometimes it doesn't even have to do with injuries. It could just be like, this team we thought was going to be like good coming into the season, and they're not really on shit. So let's just lower their games. And it'll also benefit for other teams that we didn't think we're going to be as good and ended up being better than we thought. Like the Knicks, for example, that year, the year after the bubble.
Yeah.
Bro, no one expected us to be good. And then when they did that second half of the schedule, we got more nationally televised games. I think prior to that, we might have had like 3.
I guess my thing is like, I don't know the way that this shit happens, right? The process of getting those national TV games. I don't know how difficult it is to, let's say, call up TNT and be like, or TNT or whoever, and be like, hey, we want this specific game locked in. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you, you know? But if it's possible for them to do that every fucking year, that like, let's say you put the Heat versus the Clippers on primetime TV in March. Realistically speaking, we know that 2 of Jimmy Butler, Kawhi, and PG are not going to play. 2 of them are not going to play. So why not flex that and have, I don't fucking know, the OKC versus the Cavs. That would be a much more entertaining game. I'd rather watch the Cavs versus OKC fully healthy than an injured Heat team versus an injured or resting Clippers team. That's just how shit works out, bro. But speaking of scheduling, because it's something I didn't even get to talk to you about beforehand. I want the NBA to, you know how last season we had like the they wanted to test out kind of like the baseball series type of thing. I think they should do that shit all the time, all year round. So remember with I think the Pelicans and Suns played back-to-back games against each other. I want more of that.
Oh, okay.
Like they did that with a couple of teams. A couple
Yeah.
of teams had that shit. They had back-to-back games against each other. Get them out the way. I understand there's the argument of like, oh, but let's say like what would be a really exciting game? Like let's say the Celtics versus I don't fucking know, the Heat, right? Oh well, if we get all those games like in December, we're not gonna see them the rest of the year. I'm not gonna lie, I would kind of prefer that than having shit all the way spaced out, because you get your ass beat, let's say, by the Heat in that first game, right? Now you come in that game after thinking like, damn, I want to bust these guys' ass. Or even then, an alternative would be have those two, because they play 4 games against each other. Have the two Miami games back to back, like on a Friday then a Sunday. Then whenever, throw it in later on in the season, the 2 games in Boston. Have it like, I don't know, on a Monday and a Wednesday and shit like that. And just have the 2 games back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like keep the rivalries fresh and shit. Because baseball's solely on my mind right now. Trying to do the football thing, bro.
It's getting exciting, man.
Trying to do a little bit of the football thing, but my main lock-in is the baseball shit. And obviously, like, you play the same team 4 days in a row, 3 days in a row, then you move on to the next team. Do that shit for basketball, bro. Because I think when solely by your conference too, I'll say that much. Because I'm not gonna sit here and say, all right, let's do Celtics versus Lakers in Boston, and then 2 days later we're going out all the way out to LA to do that game all over again. That's OD. You feel me?
No, yeah, you would have to keep it in the same
within your conference.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know, Hawks versus Knicks. Do the 2 New York games back to back. Do the 2 Atlanta games back to back. I don't know, put 2 in fucking December and the other 2 in March. You feel me? I want to hear your kind of stance on that, because baseball is very unique. It's like you playing the same fucking team 3-4 days in a row. If some shit happens in game 2 where I throw at you, now your next pitcher's like, fuck, I'm gonna throw at one of their guys. I'm pissed off right now. And that shit boils over to the last game of the series. And you come back in a couple months and that shit's still there, that fire's still there. Compared to, I don't know, the Yankees play the Red Sox in 1 game, and then these dudes go all the way to fucking LA to play the Angels. You feel me? It's not like that. Then that's more so like the NBA way. So how do you feel about some shit like that?
I feel like it would benefit more if it was, instead of same conference, do that for same division.
I've told you so many times where we got to bring division ball back.
So, for example, Nets Celtics, back-to-back days, and then maybe a month later you do 2 games in Boston. Or Sixers Knicks, you do that, and then whatever. But the tricky thing about this is, I think divisions in NBA, there's 5 teams per division.
Correct.
So there's always gonna be that odd team out. In football, there's 4, and so everything kind of works out. So I guess you could do it in that sort of sense. You could just have you just plug 1 team in, and I guess it just go from there. But I feel like it would benefit more just off divisions, because you have the fan bases of all those teams are kind of close by to each other.
Yeah, we could take a train to Philly right now.
Yeah, we could take a train to Philly. We could drive up to Boston. Like, we got 2 teams in New York, so it benefits us. Oh yeah, Toronto's in our division too. So yeah, I think keeping it in the same division would be the way to go, because you got all those fan bases kind of near to each other. Some of them are kind of like out the way, like
what is it? Damn, what's the name of the division? The West. It's like so fucked up. The Northwest, right?
Northwest.
You got the Blazers, and you got the Nuggets. Fuck, who else you have? You have the Blazers, you have the Nuggets, you have the Timberwolves. Grizzlies are they Southwest?
They might be Southwest.
I guess just my point is, it's all fucked up, bro.
Look at the map.
Well, yeah, even looking at the map, it's like, all right, so it's Memphis, Pelicans, the 3 Texas teams.
Memphis is damn near an East team.
That's what I'm saying. They made that argument to make them the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves like an Eastern Conference team. But like, yeah, so it's the Blazers, the Nuggets, the Blazers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder. Who are we fucking missing though, bro? Like that's where my confusion comes in. There's one more that we missing.
You said Blazers,
Nuggets, Jazz, Timberwolves. Who are we forgetting? Because the Kings.
You said Thunder too?
Thunder, Nuggets, Blazers, Timberwolves, Jazz. There we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, but it's like they're all fucking separate.
Yeah, they're all scattered, yeah.
Like OKC to Portland is a fucking mess. But I do like what you kind of say. But that just brings up another point I have. I want I want divisions to mean more again, bro. I understand we literally had one fuck up year. It was just 1 year of the fuck up. That was 15, 16 or 14, 15 was the last time we had it, right? When the Blazers won their division, they were the 3 seed, and there was like 2 or 3 teams better than them record-wise. It was like the Spurs were better than them and somebody else. I understand where people are coming from with that.
Yeah.
But basketball is better when there's rivalries, right? And I'm sure we've had this talk already before, privately numerous times. I don't know if we had this talk on the pod, but it's like there's like no real rivalries anymore. It's like LeBron versus the Warriors, which is about to die out.
Yeah.
And then Lakers, Celtics, and Celtics Heat.
Yeah.
There's no other real tension. Like we could pretend to be hype about Philly and Sixers, but let's be real. Sixers, even Embiid says it, they whoop our ass every time. Can you name one other rivalry besides those 3 rivalries that exist in the NBA right now?
I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like every quote unquote rivalry is kind of just like one sided and just made up by the media just to like hype up the fans. But
Yeah, like Bucks Heat is a rivalry. So there's like 4, but that's it.
yeah, Bucks Heat, that's a good one.
But it's like you go into football, right? You got Eagles, Giants, Giants, Cowboys. Everyone in the division hates each other basically.
Yeah, we hate each other. I wouldn't even call us rivals, no, because the Cowboys been whooping our ass.
But you know what I mean, like just in
No,
general,
yeah,
there's always gonna be tension, no matter who, whether it's Eli fucking Manning versus what's his fucking name from back then, that the quarterback
Tony
from back
Romo?
then. Tony Romo. Whether it's Eli Manning, Tony Romo, or Dak Prescott versus Daniel Jones, or you want to go back 30 years, or you want to go forward 30 years.
That's one thing
Those
I
niggas
love.
are gonna hate each other.
That's one thing I love about football. The divisions, yo, any team that's in whatever division, whatever team you're a fan of, they always hate the other team in the division.
That's what I'm saying. But it's the same.
Packers
it's
fans
the same
hate
thing with
Bears
baseball,
fans,
yeah.
and vice versa.
It's
Even
just-
though they're not rivals, the Packers been whooping the Bears' ass every year, but they hate each other.
I don't know how hockey works. I don't know if hockey's division or strictly conference, but like you say with football, and I forget because I don't watch football. I don't know divisions.
Yeah.
But I remember I would like see like TikToks and shit, like joking about this. Like this is like the fucking most deadly division. It's the one where it's like what? It's like the Ravens.
AFC North.
Yeah. What is that? It's like Ravens,
Browns, Bengals, Steelers.
Yeah, they all fucking hate each other. Niggas be fucking each other up in
That's
that
a
division.
tough ass division.
But it's like no matter who's on that team, in 20 years they still gonna hate each other, right?
Yeah. It
They're
don't matter.
always gonna hate each other. This whole Knicks Nets rivalry, that's just dead already. KD and Kyrie are gone.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't give
gone.
a fuck about playing them no more.
Yeah.
Those games where we would always keep it close, and Randall would fuck up in the last possession and get mad at the refs, get in the refs' face. That happened like every single time in the 2021 season, right?
Yeah.
He would fuck up on the last play and then go yell at the refs and shit. And it's just like it's just gone now, bro. Do the Heat and the Magic care about playing each other? No. Do the fucking Hawks care
I
about beating
wish
the
that
Hornets?
was a rivalry.
It should be.
When I was younger, I used to be like Heat and Magic, yo. I would hate each other. Same fucking state. They don't give a fuck.
But
Like,
even then, even like with Dwight versus the Big Three, even though that lasted like 2 seasons, there was no heat in that. I don't even think they played any fucking playoff series against each other. Nah. But it's like they don't give a fuck about that. And that's always been my one gripe about the NBA, bro. You said it with football. They always gonna fucking hate each other. When Daniel Jones leaves in fucking 10 years, they got a new QB. When the Cowboys get their new QB in 10 years, guess what? They still fucking hate each other. But in basketball, when a guy leaves, that's it. It's gone. Baseball, Red Sox, Yankees always gonna hate each other. Dodgers, Giants always gonna hate each other. Cardinals and Cubs, whether they both suck, whether they got Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, they're gonna fucking hate each other, my nigga.
Nah, yeah.
That shit's always gonna be there, bro. And it sucks because in every division in baseball, you have minimum 1 rivalry. Except the AL Central, I'm being honest, because they all ass. You're going to have minimum 1 rivalry. There's 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 rivalries in a division with 5 fucking teams, bro. But then in the NBA, you go through every fucking division. Do the Giants care about beating OKC on a random Tuesday? They don't give a fuck, bro. The Yankees and Red Sox just played each other to see who's going to get out of last place. And we won that series, and we were fucking hype. None of us are going to make the fucking playoffs. But it's like, if the Blazers play the T-Wolves in a fight for like the 8 seed even, there's like no tension in that shit. And the next time they see each other, say the Blazers beat them and they get in next year and they get into it next year in the game, nothing's going to fucking happen, bro. And you would think playing games after beating a guy, you'll come in next season like, damn, this is the guys who kept us out of the playoffs and shit. There's no fucking heat.
Yeah.
There's no beef in that shit. You think the T-Wolves are gonna come into the season like, shit, we mad at the fucking Lakers, man. We mad at the fucking Lakers because they beat us in a playing game. They don't give a fuck, bro.
Nah, yeah, that's true.
Teams just don't
I feel like
give
a
fuck.
lot of the rivalries was just like whatever player was there too at that point in time. And also what fucks it up too is like players like leaving.
Yeah.
Like players forcing their way out. Like I remember OKC Golden State was a rivalry.
Yeah.
That was a rivalry. And then KD went to the Warriors.
But even after he left, it was a rivalry. Low key, one-sided, but it was a rivalry.
I think it was just that first matchup was just so hyped up. But after that, it kind of just died down. Like I remember there was one game that Paul George had like 40 on them. But that game doesn't really get talked about. I feel like the one game that gets talked about was when KD came back. They were calling him a cupcake, all that shit. He got in Russ's face. Or the game when they went to Golden State and Russ fucking traveled with the ball. Like, those are like...
Yeah, and Curry said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's just funny.
Yeah,
he
like,
just strips like, I don't know.
Those are like the two games that get talked about post like KD Thunder era. But like after that, we don't really talk about Thunder Warriors like that. And then even Bulls Heat.
Was fire.
That was a
Even
rivalry.
when D Rose would go down, that was fire.
That was a rivalry, and then that shit died out. Like Bulls Heat now is like, what the fuck? Like,
Well, you could say I'm being biased. But sometimes it just feels like a LeBron thing. Like you could say Heat versus Pacers, but like it kind of just feels like LeBron because even when he went to the Cavs, he had some little bit of static with them. When he went to the Cavs, he had some sort of static with the Bulls. You feel me? So it kind of felt like a little bit more LeBron versus Bulls, LeBron versus Celtics, obviously. Cavs the first time, the Heat, Cavs the second time. You feel me? It's not like if they were to face the Cavs with Kyrie for some reason, if they made the playoffs, they're like, yeah, we still fucking hate the Cavs. They don't give a fuck.
You know, it was a low key rivalry. Clippers Warriors.
Yeah, but that was like for like 2 years. You feel me?
But it was like they hated each other.
2-3 years. Yeah.
But that was like a low. That's why I say low key rivalry. But then once the Warriors took off, it wasn't even like.
When they were in the same spot, it was a rivalry. Like 13, 14, 14, 15. Obviously, before we knew the Warriors were going to win a championship, like that Western Conference playoffs in 2014, 15, it's like, you don't know.
They used to battle.
They were in the same spot.
Yo, that 2014 playoff series when they went to 7 and the Clippers won.
Because you got to understand, they was in the same spot. They was basically like, all right, the Spurs is about to age out. Like, obviously, Kobe's out. Like, who the fuck is going to rule the West for like the next 4 years?
Yeah.
You both got your star point guards and shit. You got two, well, Draymond wasn't a star yet, but like you have borderline star versus star power forward against each other. You know, it's two great dynamic duos. They're right there on the cusp of being champions and shit. It's just that the Warriors took off and never looked back.
Would you count Rockets Warriors as a rivalry?
That was a rivalry. 100%. 100%. Because you had Harden versus Curry battling for MVPs, right? Harden came in second, 14-15. 15-16, obviously, he was an 8 seed. He didn't really have a chance, but he still averaged like 28 that year.
Yeah.
Niggas want to call him ass and say it was empty stats. He averaged 28 that year, some shit like that. But then you go on, so they played 14-15, 15-16 against each other. They got whooped in 15-16 as an 8 seed.
Yeah, they lost in the first round. Yeah.
17-18 was so heated, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
They were
27
right
threes
there.
missed.
They were right there.
CP3, and then the CP3 element, because CP3 fucking hates the Warriors, bro.
Yeah.
He hates the Warriors. He wants to beat Steph so badly. He wants to beat, remember him laughing at Steve Kerr and then he's not smiling anymore?
And then you remember, was it 2019 where
18-19 as well. Yeah, KD goes down instead. And now there's no more excuse of, oh, you only beat us because CP3 went down. Because now KD went down.
I forgot what, it might have been the last game when Curry was out shooting before the game.
Yeah, and
and
Chris Paul
CP3 was
"Get
like,
the fuck out.
get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, even though he's a Warrior now, he does not like the Warriors,
He
bro.
does not like Steph, yo.
And it's like, and the reason to go back to my initial point about the season series being like back-to-back games and shit, right? Like the Pelicans and Suns. Like, remember the start of last year, people were like, oh, Pelicans are the 1 seed. They just got mad that Zion just busted their ass or whatever. I was hype. I was like, yo, this could be a real rivalry. 2 young teams. They both want to be good. They both want to be contenders and shit. They both got their star in Book and Zion. Because, you know, this was before KD and obviously way before Bradley Beal. And it's just like, there's not going to be no tension now. And they just played in a playoff series too as well the year before that. So it's like, they don't give a fuck this season.
Nah, yeah.
It's not like Zion's gonna come in and be like, yeah, I fucking hate Devin Booker. I hate the Suns, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just another game, bro. And it's unfortunate because like it just hasn't been a thing in basketball forever. I mean, you go back then, 30 years ago, like for example, Bulls and Cavs hate each other. Bulls and Pacers hate each other.
Bulls and Knicks.
Well, even just I'm just going through division.
Oh, through
Bulls and
division.
Pistons. Then you go out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Knicks and Celtics were a rivalry back then. You had Celtics Sixers were a rivalry back then. You had all these fucking rivalries. The West, now that I think about it, didn't really have rivalries. I solely felt like an East thing, you know? But you can't really name one big rivalry in the West because it was just Lakers were stopping everybody.
Same division?
Same division or same conference even. Because the Lakers played somebody new every single year in the conference finals.
I feel like, I wouldn't call them rivalries. I wouldn't call them rivals, but I felt like Lakers and Rockets back in the day, especially in the 80s, they had a lot of battles.
They beat them one time. The Rockets beat them the one time they lost to the Celtics.
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson, Hakeem,
Yeah, they beat them in round one.
Was that Hakeem's rookie year or second year? I think it was the second year.
86, they went to the finals. And then 1981, that was before Ralph.
Yes, of course. That was Moses Malone as well.
Yeah, Moses Malone. That was before Ralph Sampson, before Hakeem. They beat the Lakers in round one. And that was the Lakers that just won the chip.
And then Ralph and Hakeem beat them again in 85, 86, I think it was. That's Hakeem's
86.
second year.
Yeah, that's when they went to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. And then they lost. But it's like, besides that, it's like, which a lot of people don't want to talk about, by the way, which is a whole nother point I'm not going to go into. Magic kind of people want to say LeBron had a weak conference. Magic low-key had a weak conference too. They was stomping motherfuckers because teams just weren't as good as them. I think they played the Mavs one year in the conference finals. And who was on that fucking team? Like Sam Perkins and Mark Aguirre.
The Rockets were probably the toughest team.
That's it. But that's it.
Yeah.
They had nothing else.
Because I feel like all the tougher shit was in the East. Like,
of course.
Celtics, Sixers.
Then Knicks, Bernard King.
The Bulls started coming up
Bulls
later.
came up. The Bucks were very fucking good.
Bucks
Sidney Moncrief.
Sidney Moncrief. Yeah.
Dominique Wilkins.
The Hawks.
The Hawks and the Celtics, another fucking rivalry.
That was another one too.
There was mad rivalries back then, but that's also because they played more games against each other, which is kind of another question I want to ask you. Would you alter the schedule system on games played against each other? Like here's the thing. I don't know if the math works out, right? I didn't do the fucking math.
Yeah.
I don't know if the math works out. But what if you because everybody in the conference plays against each other 4 times, correct? Yeah. What if the teams outside your division, like you just take away one game out of all those, you play 3 teams. You play those teams 3 times a year out of your division, and you just pull all those fucking games into your division. Again, I don't know how the math works, but if that was to give more in-division games and you don't sacrifice the interconference games, I would fuck with that. Like if the Knicks played the Bucks 3 times instead of 4, and that meant even just 1 extra game against the Celtics, that could change everything to do with a fucking rivalry, bro. In my opinion. But then the difficulty is like, who gets the leftover home game? You feel me? But I want some shit like that, bro.
Yeah,
so bad.
You'd have to figure it out. You got to have 41 and 41 home and away games. That'd be some shit to figure out. But
if you could get division games to be 6 games against each team, I would fuck with it. So you get your 3-3. But like you said, someone got to do all the fucking math. I'm just spitballing. I just came up with that in my brain. Like, damn, what if we just take away the conference games, just 1 game from each fucking team? Because you would be taking away what, like 10 games, I believe. And you just throw it all into one fucking pool, bro.
Yeah.
I would fuck with that way more, to be honest with you. And if it is you taking away 10 games, that's just 2 extra for the division. If my math ain't fucked up, because I'm not doing all the work. Maybe I could do the work, come back next time, maybe work out. But I would like to see more Knicks Celtics games, like 2 more Knicks Celtics games. See if that causes a rivalry. See more Clipper Lakers. Now that there's no more, bullshit with the resting, with the load management. Just a couple more games of these teams again. Lakers versus Suns. If they have 2 more games against each other, bro, that rivalry gets even more heated, bro.
Yeah.
Got a playoff series against each other already. KD and LeBron comes back as a one-on-one rivalry type shit. I would fuck with it.
Another thing too, I feel like nowadays, like fans are more so like they're fans of players rather than teams.
That's the problem too.
Yeah,
I'll admit that. I don't think you see that and any other sport. You
Because
feel
like
me?
I've never like in basketball it's so common. Like I've heard so many players like wherever Paul George goes is where I go. Like I never heard nobody say, "Oh, wherever Aaron Donald goes."
Yeah, I was just about to
go.
ask you, is there anyone like on Twitter, like let's say like in they bar, they're like, yeah, I'm from fucking Boston shit. They're like, I'm a Joe Burrow fan.
Like
and
wherever
only
Joe
a
Burrow goes, I
fan.
go. I'm like, well, he's gonna be locked in for a while.
Because you don't like, I'm asking you because you watch football, like in baseball, you don't see that. There's no, I'm only an Aaron Judge fan. I'm only a Trout fan. I'm
Yeah,
only
like-
I'll take it back though. There's some casual fans that are just like, oh, wherever Ohtani goes, but it's literally just Ohtani, bro. Anyone else?
Yeah, he's a free agent, so I guess like.
But you're not gonna see anyone else who's gonna be like, I'm a Mookie Betts fan.
Yeah, like I feel like the only other sport where people do that is maybe soccer.
Yes. But yes. But even then, to soccer's defense, because I watch soccer has the most intense rivalries of any other fucking sport.
Yeah.
So you might have those guys who are just like, I like Messi, I like Ronaldo, wherever the fuck they go.
Yeah.
You know, you got teams where, because we come from a small town, imagine we had our own soccer team. Like there's teams in England in towns our size, and let's say our neighboring town, which we're not gonna name, if they have their own team, those people fucking hate each other, and they're like in the 7th division, bro. And they'll dead start fighting each other and shit. They'll throw flares at each other and shit, which I'm not condoning and wanting us to do now. We kind of got that because I saw some shit with like the Commanders and like Ravens or some shit fighting each other. Some dude knocked out a fan. That shit happens all the time.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
The one dude getting held back, and the other dude started just beating on him. He was just eating that shit.
No, was it? That was
I think it was Command or 49ers and Ravens, some shit like that.
It was
or Commanders and Ravens.
The funny thing about that was it wasn't even Ravens playing. It was Commanders and fucking Cardinals. But that dude just had a Ravens jersey.
He just had a Ravens jersey. Okay,
some guy was like,
okay.
you gotta stay with the birds.
What the fuck? So he just pulled up to a random game without the team playing.
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, I guess you could say soccer's on when you do it. But basketball, it's like really bad. Like those KD fans on Twitter and Bleacher Report. That I'll see. There's like one guy on Bleacher Report, bro, in the comments. Like he first of all, he used to have like a KD and like as a net profile pic. He went to the Suns. He changed it to like KD and book. I'm like, you are so fucking corny, bro. Like I hate that shit.
Nah, yeah.
Like you'll never see me be like, damn. Once Jalen Brunson gets traded, I'm going with him.
Exactly.
Bro, I just like the fucking Knicks,
you
bro.
only see that shit in basketball.
It's only basketball.
Because like in football, there's no like player movement like that. Like I don't remember the last time like a quarterback like in his prime was like, get me the fuck out of here.
But let's say like Odell, for example, right?
Yeah.
Because people love him. He's like a social media dude. He want to do his fucking dances and shit and tear his fucking knee while dancing and shit. He moves around a lot. Do you ever see anyone like in the Twitter spaces or whatever just be like, damn, I'm just rocking with Odell? Giant, fucking Ram, whatever he is, Brown.
But I feel like the people that do follow Odell, a lot of them are really like casual.
It's
because he hasn't been elite since like, for a while.
Yeah, even I know that too.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah,
but nah, bro, it's
his name just holds a lot of weight.
Well, because one hand catch and dance moves. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know I'm not even a casual in football, but that's all I know him for, and that's what a lot of people like him for. You feel me? And his fucking hair. But basically, because we kind of went off on a tangent, the finalizing point, the conclusion, which we both agree on, NBA, Adam Silver, find a way to bring back rivalries, whether it is adding more division games, whether it is incentivizing a division winner, something, bro. Change of schedule, I don't know. Something, back-to-back series against each other. That's the idea. That's the most plausible that they should actually look towards. Two Lakers Suns games, do both the Phoenix games back-to-back, do both the LA games back-to-back. That I would incentivize. That's something that Adam Silver should really look into. The other bullshit, it's ideal. Like it's like a fantasy thing. I hope it happens, but do the back-to-back series, bro. I think it would do a lot for basketball. Devin Booker, if he was to lose against LeBron on a Friday, he's going to want to come back with a vengeance on that same Sunday. You feel me? And maybe that heat carries over all the way to February when they play each other twice again in LA. That's basically my conclusion. Bring back the fucking rivalries, bro. Bring back some heat to the fucking games because it low-key feels a little soulless, bro.
You know what's funny too? NBA, they low-key been trying to do that. Well, last year they did it. They had that NBA Rivals Week bullshit. But they're going off like what they think is a rivalry.
But you can't force a rivalry, you feel me? I can't go out and say, you know what? Hawks and Magic, y'all are rivals now because you're in the same division.
Yeah.
That's not a fucking rivalry, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like the ideas of rivalry week because that's just corny, bro. That's corny. Don't force it. Let it happen.
Yeah, like that Knicks Hawks, that was forced as fuck.
Now it's forced. Back then, in our playoff series and that season after, it was authentic. Now, people who even try to do the fuck Trae Young shit now, if they was to do that this season, that should be corny. Bro, that series was 3 years ago now.
I didn't really see it as a rivalry.
It was though.
It was just like a series, and then.
But then after that, it was real though. The 21, 22 season, it was real. But this past season, I didn't give a fuck about them. This season, I'm not gonna give a fuck about them unless they do something. You feel me? Or unless we do something to them.
I feel like it's more real when you play each other in multiple playoff series.
Yeah,
That's when it gets more real.
that's why Bucks and Heat.
Like if we played them again in the playoffs this year,
it would have been cool.
and we bust their ass, then it could be like a conversation.
But we don't see that. You feel me?
We don't see that.
The only time we see repeat matchups is Celtics Heat Bucks.
Heat Pacers back in the day.
Yeah, back then but like I'm talking about right now. So I said Heat Celtics, Heat Bucks Celtics. It's just those three teams,
Yeah.
cycling through each other. You feel me? Because
Yeah.
Philly is not a rival of anybody at this point in time.
I feel like I've seen a lot of us Philly Celtics playoff matchups.
They've had three. I think
Yeah.
they've had three just in the last decade. You feel me? But it's like Philly got their ass busted every single time. It's not a rivalry.
Every fucking
If they were
time.
1-2 in playoff series, okay, you feel me? But they're 0-3, bro. They're not a rival.
Yeah, they played this past season, 2018, 2020. Shit.
That was it, right? Yeah. It was.
I remember-
playoffs. So
yeah.
it was
this decade.
rookie Ben Simmons, bubble, and this past season. You're right. You're correct.
I also remember 2012. They played Philly round two.
Yeah, round two.
I
Round two.
remember
They upset the Bulls because D Rose unfortunately got hurt.
Yeah.
You feel me? But yeah, let's talk about. I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't even think he deserves the attention. You feel me? But it kind of is still news because now the Rockets are trying to trade Kevin Porter Jr. after, of course, the criminal charges, beating up his girlfriend, who was a former WNBA star, right? Former? And you follow WNBA more than me. Former WNBA star or player. I don't know if she was a star, but that doesn't matter at this point. Not even gonna comment on him. He's already gonna get locked up, whatever. Getting what was deserved of him. But the Rockets trying to trade him is crazy, bro.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
That's kind of what I want to talk about more. How the fuck are you gonna come out here and be like, all right, now let's try to trade him? Even if you attach picks to him. Why do you think, one, for PR reasons, why would you think that's smart? Two, who the fuck is gonna take that even if you give picks and you guys suck? If they was to tell the Knicks even like, yo, we know we're gonna suck this year, we'll give you our unprotected pick, bro. Not even like, oh, if we get first, it's ours and everything else is unprotected. If they was to try to offer us an unprotected pick, I'm not taking that shit, bro. You know how bad that shit makes us look, bro? And even if he was to come back, we don't even need him on our fucking team.
I'm just trying to think of some fucking like GM that's like so crazed with winning that he's like, I actually might do it.
Hold on. I'm not even trying to be funny. Maybe like Daryl Morey, but that's it.
I was thinking Danny Ainge too.
Danny ain't. Nah, I don't think he'll do some crazy
But
shit.
yeah,
like
I
that.
don't think
I think Daryl Morey might. No offense to Daryl Morey, but I feel like he might be the only one who'll do that shit because he low key might kill two birds in one stone. He'll get a fucking pick, and he could send off James Harden back to Houston.
Yeah, they used to be like, yo, Danny Ainge would trade his grandma.
He would. Nah, but wait, me thinking.
Yeah.
If we just talking about all time GMs, Sam Hinkie would do it.
Yeah, hell
Sam
yeah.
Hinkie would fucking do
Yeah,
it.
he would do it.
Sam Hinkie would be like, actually, give me this pick and the 26th pick unprotected.
He would have been like, no shot I'm doing that trade. He's like, we'll give you a first. He's like,
He'll be like, yeah, I'll take that shit.
he's like, so Kevin Porter, huh?
So
Okay.
Kevin Porter, huh? Dude, yes, he would take it. But yeah, dude, I don't know if you have any input on that shit. It's a really nasty situation overall.
Nah, yeah, it's very, very sad that this had to happen. And this is the last strike for Kevin Porter Jr. Because like coming into the league, he already had a lot of shit, and there was he had
As
shit
a rookie, yeah.
as a rookie, and then like the shit with the Cavs, like What the fuck? He had like a tantrum in the locker room. Or
He
some
had a
shit?
tantrum, I think, with the coaches and shit, like assistant
Yeah.
coaches and shit. Like he just has attitude problems.
Yeah, and I
There's
remember
no other way to say it.
I remember when he got traded to the Rockets. I think he only got traded for like a second rounder. And at the time, I was like,
It was a steal.
I was
Everyone
like, yo,
"This
that's
is
a steal for Houston because I'm like, this kid is good. If he just like puts it all together, like this could be like a good pick. But like this situation is very like sad, and it's like he just fucked up his last chance because I'm like after this, he might have played his last season in the NBA. Like I don't see him coming back from this.
Yeah, he's not, well, I don't want to say never. Miles Bridges is back. I don't want to say never. I don't know if
That's
just
crazy.
I don't know if that's just like a Hornets thing.
I don't know.
Because all the Hornets are out of control anyway, so they're just like, you know what, like Kai Jones just people would think he's perked up on live. I don't know what the fuck he was on. I don't know if it was perks.
I don't know.
I don't know if he was sipping mud, whatever. He was some type of fucked up.
And I remember-
Everyone on that roster is fucked up, so they're just like, let's just bring back a fucked up guy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like him coming back it's very unlikely, I'd want to say.
Yeah, there's always a chance though, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah, I guess all right, I'll say there's like a 1% chance he comes back, and if he does, he will be on Charlotte. Mm-hmm. If not, he'll probably be like in Shanghai or something. But like, I don't see him coming back to the league, especially. This is a former WNBA player.
That's what I was gonna say too.
So
yeah.
this is like we're trying to expand. This is she is a known like player in the WNBA, well, former player. So this is a different light. No, just like I'm not even trying to like.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's
Yeah.
not about that. She has more value than
Yeah, I'm
some
not trying.
random
Yeah,
girl.
yeah, I'm not trying to
whatever.
say she has more value.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just that for a look for the NBA, how
Yeah.
they subsidize this league, how they how so many players go out of their way to support this league and shit like that. I know exactly what you mean. Like there's
Yeah.
a bad look and there's a stain.
Yeah, and there's some fans that are fans of NBA and WNBA, so it's like you have mix of fans in each team in each franchise. So it's like it's a very, very, very bad look for not only the Houston Rockets but for the NBA too. But I don't know. I feel like him getting another chance is like I don't know.
Yeah, it's over for him. Hopefully, unless like you said, Charlotte will take anybody.
Charlotte would be the only way.
Charlotte will take anybody. LaMelo speeding, Book Night with the gun, Miles Bridges beating up his girlfriend, PJ Washington, baby mama drama. You know what's funny? Like we missing some names too, like Kai Jones. We still missing names because I think there's like 7 guys that have done some fucked up shit already on that roster. To them, it's like what's number 8? You feel me? But that's like that's a terrible starting. That's like the Jailblazers, but even worse, bro. It's really fucking bad. So I said LaMelo, Book Night, Bridges, PJ Washington, Kai Jones. That's already a starting 5. You feel me? I don't know who I'm missing.
Damn.
It's just trouble.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, Amari Bailey. He didn't do nothing.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to ask you something, though, because I did say the Lakers should be the favorites to win a championship. Of course, the one thing that makes basketball unique, one player can affect winning solely by themselves, basically, right?
Yeah.
This is why a GOAT debate is so much easier in basketball than in football. You know, Tom Brady's not, getting picks. You know, he's not getting interceptions and running into the touchdown. I guess Otani's the only difference, but you're not, the regular guy isn't pitching and hitting, or even pitching, hitting, and fielding. You feel me?
Yeah.
Basketball, you got to score, you got to play make for your guys, you got to play defense. You're responsible for everything, right? One guy could change a fucking franchise, right? Which is why the GOAT debate is so much different.
Yeah.
Compared to any other sport. LeBron, always a subject when it comes to the GOAT. 5th championship, let's say, this season. 4 MVPs, should be 5. All these various accolades, most points, about to score 40,000. Like, does a 5th championship really change anything for you? Because, like, 5 championships, like I said, 4 MVPs, could have been 5, could have been 6, honestly. Could have been all the way to 6, bro. There's some MVPs he was robbed of.
Which ones?
So you could argue 2011 should have been his. You feel me?
I disagree with that.
2011 could have been his.
I disagree.
One of Steve Nash's could have been his. 2018 was LeBron's best offensive season. You could make an argument to give that to him, but the two that I would strongly stand, the one I stand on the most is 2011 with D Rose. That's the one I'll stand on the most. That's the one I'll stand 10 toes down. Steve Nash one, which was I believe 05, 06. I'll give him some type of argument there. And then, like 18, 13, 14, like you can make some sort of arguments, you feel me? But 2011 is the one I stand the hardest on. 2006, he has a shout out. He could have been the youngest MVP, I'm pretty sure, at that point in time if he won in 2006, which he low-key should have.
I mean, 2006, I don't really know that much like about at that time. Like, I just know the big conversation was Kobe.
Man, he didn't even finish top three though. I'm not entertaining that shit.
Exactly.
It was LeBron. It was Nash, LeBron, and Dirk. I think in that order.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't really speak on 2006 that much. 2018, I flirted with the idea of LeBron maybe winning that one, but the Rockets that year were just crazy, and James Harden was a big part of that. I guess if the Cavs. I guess they just did that just based on seeding because the Cavs that year were a 4 seed.
They were the 4 seed.
So,
they won 50 games with all the turnover.
Yeah.
And all the turnover.
I'm not going to lie. That one is the one where I'm like, he could have won that one.
That's his best offensive season ever.
Yeah. But to me, 2011, I think Derrick Rose deserved that one. Because just all the shit that just cultivated into that season is just going from this season, the last season to the next. I feel like that one, Derrick Rose deserved that one. And it was just like, that was LeBron's first Heat year.
Yes.
So, off rip, he's joining the Miami Heat. You got D-Wade that year, who was still like...
He was still good,
He was still like that. He was All-NBA.
The first and second year, he was still good. After that, his knees gave out. Yeah,
he was All-NBA second team that year, I believe. And he averaged like 25, 26 a game.
Okay.
So... automatically, just having that is like, it already kind of fucks you over. Like, and then for the, like, I remember, bro, that 2009, 2010 Bulls team, they won 41 games. They were the 8th seed. And then the next year, Tom Thibodeau, rookie head coach, they win 62 games. They had the best record in the league. And that's with the Spurs there. The champion Dallas Mavericks. You had the Lakers that just came off a chip, the Heat, Celtics, like that, like it was a stack. Like the NBA, that was like the time you had the young Thunder, like that was a stacked time, and like the Bulls with 22-year-old Derrick Rose, that was the best team in the league, and a lot of it was because of him, because like you got to remember that year, Joakim Noah missed hella games. And Carlos Boozer was our key. Well, I'm saying our, but nigga, I'm a D Rose.
Well, you like D Rose.
Yeah,
D Rose. That's what it is.
So I was watching games like crazy. So Carlos Boozer was like the key signing, and he missed a shit ton of games. So you know who was starting for the Bulls? Fucking Kurt Thomas.
Okay. Kurt
Thomas was starting for the Bulls. No space and no nothing. Second best player was Luol Deng. No, I love Luol Deng, but like
let's respect Luol Deng. I'm not gonna interpret, but let's respect Luol Deng.
No, I love Luol Deng, but like compared to like D-Wade and like all these other teams with their second star, he was not holding a candle to these guys. I think he averaged like 17 as a second guy, which is good, but like at that time it was like, and there was also no second like ball handler on that team. Like outside of D Rose, the only other person that handled the ball for that team was like CJ Watson, and he only played like 10 minutes a game. Like he wasn't playing like that. D Rose was literally the engine to that team. He was literally and he played 81 games that year. I think the year prior they ranked, I think it was like 27th in offense, and then his MVP year they were 11th, and then the years after he got hurt they just started slowly dying down, which just shows you he was that whole team. And I think he did deserve that year. LeBron was obviously good, but like that motherfucker didn't even finish 2.
But and that's the thing though. But here's my counter to that. Like you got the best record in the league, that's fine. We've seen a lot of MVPs not go to the best record in the league.
Yeah.
We saw Russ win as a 6th seed. We saw Jokic win as a 6th seed. That award, MVP to me, is always going to mean, you know what? not the best player on the best fucking team. It was you were the best player in the fucking league, right?
Yeah.
I would have LeBron and Dwight over D Rose that year. Especially Dwight, dude. Even like if there was one guy else to win MVP that year that wasn't LeBron, it should be Dwight Howard. I understand you said D Rose was the only offensive engine, you feel me? But I'm sorry, bro. You cannot look into that camera and tell me D Rose is a better player than LeBron or Dwight Howard. Those are two guys doing it on both sides of the floor. You feel me? And we want to talk about second stars. And that time, who was the second star to Dwight Howard? Because Jameer Nelson wasn't an all-star, for example. Hito wasn't that type of guy anymore. Who was the second star? Nobody, really. So this man was averaging like 23 points per game, 12 rebounds, defensive player of the year, defensive monster. Wasn't even close to who was the best defender in the league. Then you go over to LeBron, who probably averages 27, 7, and 7. I don't even have to look it up. I'm very confident that's probably what he had. He was still one of the best. He was still part of one of the best teams in the fucking league. He was dominant. This is LeBron, who's still playing great defense. And guess what? Yes, this is an award that goes out before the championship and all that. But guess what? We saw who went to the fucking finals that year. You feel me? They smoked the Bulls.
We can't say that.
But they smoked the Bulls.
They did, but
they smoked them.
They did,
they
but
smoked
like
them.
you said, it's a regular season
It's
award.
a regular season
And
award.
same
But
thing-
even in the regular season, LeBron was the best player on the planet. By far.
I don't know.
By far. I think LeBron and Dwight and then, of course, Kobe were the three best players in the world at that time, which puts D-Rose at 4.
I still think D Rose got it because even same thing that you said. D Rose also did not have a all-star on that team other than himself.
But like I said, if that's the argument,
And I think-
then why not give it to Dwight if it's not going to
and
LeBron
also
or Kobe?
I think the Bulls probably had a worse like supporting cast around him than the Magic did.
Than the Magic?
Yeah.
So who
Keith Bogans was a starter for the Bulls.
who's matching Luol Deng on the fucking Magic?
It would be Hidu.
Who was already older. His best year was 2009.
So that's what 2 years prior.
But he wasn't as good as he was in 2009. That finals run when he started playing that playmaking 4, that he wasn't like that anymore. Jameer Nelson was an all-star, but then he was not an all-star ever again. He was never at that same tier. You feel me? Dwight was carrying that team offensively and defensively, bro. That 4-out offense, that shit only worked out because of who Dwight Howard is. No one was fucking with him in the paint, on offense or defense. And that's getting off topic talking about Dwight, but it's just to say, like, if the argument is, all right, it's about help, then why didn't Dwight win? If it's about who was the best player in the league on the fucking planet, why didn't LeBron win? You feel me? So it's like D Rose doesn't win based on having the least help, and he doesn't win on being the best player in the world, in my opinion.
If we're going by best player on the planet, was James Harden the best player on the planet in 2018?
You could make the argument that he was. If he wasn't number 1, he was number 2. For that year, strictly that year.
We're going by that year.
That specific year.
So, because you could argue LeBron, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry.
He was better than KD. And I guess you could say him and Curry was an argument, and then LeBron's always going to be in that argument for number 1. But even like I said, LeBron should have won 2018 as well. So it should have been either LeBron or fucking Harden. Just those are the 2 best players on the planet. And I think by far LeBron was the best. LeBron has been the best player in the world basically from 09-10 to, let's say, where do we want to cut it off? 17-18. Because 19-20 got hurt. And 2021, 1920, which was the bubble. Giannis didn't win a championship. He was still the best player in the world.
Not yet.
I think Giannis that year specifically was DPOY as well.
Not yet. I just feel like the Bulls just would gradually improve, like year after. Like they went from 8th seed his rookie year, 8th seed the year after, and then number 1 seed. Like that type of jump is like crazy. And then even that 2011 Magic team, like the year after, with Dwight missing a shit ton of games, the team still made the playoffs.
Barely.
They barely made it, but they were still in. Like they were still.
But by that
in.
argument, when D Rose was out in 12-13, bro, they still made it, and by a good amount. It wasn't like they were scratching and clawing. They made it by a good amount.
Yeah, but they had Joakim Noah playing a majority of the season, and that was his first All-Star year.
But you're telling me a team that swaps out D Rose, right? Who's supposed to be the best player in the NBA. You swap him out for Nate Robinson, and it's still, I forgot if they're the 4 or the 5 seed. That doesn't make you look any
the
different. It's
5 seed.
Nate Robinson.
Not yet, but
That's Nate Robinson.
they were different though.
And Jimmy
offensively.
Butler wasn't Jimmy Butler yet either.
No, yeah, that's true. But offensively, they were drastically different. They weren't the same team.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the Magic team right now. So his help was 34-year-old Vince Carter, 30-year-old Jason Richardson, two guys out of their prime. Jameer Nelson, who was starting to fall off a little bit. Rashard Lewis. Hito, who was past his prime as well. He went from, this year he averaged 11 points. His best season, which was the final season, he averaged 17. And even the year before that, he averaged 19.5. So, yeah, that 2 years definitely did make a big fucking difference. You feel me? So, it's just like, realistically speaking, bro, his help was not there. 34-year-old Vince Carter, Jason Richardson, who I don't think he's ever made the All-Star game. Of course, because there was great shooting guards in the Western Conference, but he was past the hill as well. Jameer Nelson was not All-Star anymore. Hito was not that guy anymore. Rashard Lewis was not that guy anymore. So it's like, if it's based on help, why not give it to Dwight? If it's based on help and not the best player in the world, why not give it to Dwight Howard instead of D Rose?
Well, just sticking to that year, it was just Lowell. Like, Lowell was like the only other option on that team because, like I said, Noah missed games, Boozer missed games. You had Keith Bogan starting, who was a zero on the court. Ronnie Brewer was a rotational piece who didn't do anything.
Okay.
Captain Kirk was not even there. He was on the Wizards. So there goes your second point guard. CJ Watson didn't really play like that. The only other player was like Kyle Korver off the bench, but even then he wasn't doing what he was doing on the Hawks. He was just a shooter off the bench. So like D Rose was literally like the entire engine for that team. And like Noah and Deng became all-stars the years that D Rose was out.
Correct.
With injury. So that, and Tom Thibodeau coaches teams were like, they'll be well off enough like defensively where they could just hold their own and they could just hang their hat on that. And then offensively shit would just come and go. That's why they were able to hang on in 12-13 and then again in 13-14 when Jimmy Butler started to take a little bit. So, but we would see the regression each year. Like, and even then, 2011, Joakim Noah was not the same Joakim Noah in 2013 or in 2014. So that, for me, that just tells me. And if we're just sticking off regular season, like, I'm not even going to talk about the playoffs because, like, that has nothing to do with this MVP conversation. But, like, they would battle with the Heat. Like,
in the regular season, yes, they did.
They would battle. I believe they won every game.
They won the series. I know that for a fact. I don't know if they swept them, though.
I don't remember if they swept them.
But they definitely won the series.
Yeah, hindsight, regular season don't mean shit. But those were actually competitive games. Like, I hear what you're saying about Dwight, but I don't know. I think it's just the jump that the Bulls made from that year to the next is like something you can't ignore. Same thing with Steve Nash when he first joined Phoenix. That turnaround from that year before to when he got there, that's hard to ignore.
That turnaround's historic, though. That's the difference. So that turnaround was historic, bro. That was taking D Rose, like you said, took a 41-win team to 60 wins, correct? But that was just from him improving. Steve Nash joined a team that was sub 30 wins, and just the sole addition of him added 30 wins to a team, bro. 30 wins, bro. 30 wins. Like, that's something we'll never see ever again, I promise you. We'll never see a team just join a team like that. Because even when LeBron went back to the Cavs, they won like 30-something games with Kyrie. And that next year, they won only like 50-something games. They didn't win 60 games. You feel me? They probably won like what?
I could double check that.
They won 56 games in 2016, I think. But they never cracked 60. I know that for a fact. But LeBron didn't add 30 wins to that team. Not even the addition of him added 30 wins to that
We're
Cavs
just going to
team.
go from what the year
13-14 to 14-15.
Okay.
And while you do that, I'm still gonna keep talking about. I'm gonna be real with you. I think because D Rose is phenomenal, bro, but he was never the best player on the planet. That's why I think the problem with the NBA and the awards in general, a lot of this shit just be strictly narrative based, bro. You have this young guy, he could barely drink alcohol. He's exciting. Yes, you say he was like the sole offensive engineer of his team, so on and so forth. Hometown kid, 60-something wins, whatever. That's all narrative based. You feel me? Beat the Heat, beat these bad guy Heat dudes that no one fucking liked, right? That's all like narrative. But you look at the best player in the fucking world, bro, it was between LeBron, Dwight, and Kobe. Those were the 3 best players in that season, bro. If we was to do a draft, Justin, like I said before, you cannot look into that fucking camera and go into that season or even the season after. If you was to do a fantasy draft for the 11-12 season, you're not going to tell me I'm taking D Rose with the first pick to build my team.
You know what's funny?
You're not doing that, bro.
You know what's funny? That's actually my favorite Derrick Rose season. Not even that.
11-12. Yeah, sure. And he was great too.
Yeah.
But like I said, if the 10-11 season just ended right now, ask the Justin, like a My League thing, right? Let's say it was real life though.
Are we going like me draft right now or
like right now even, because back then, like we was younger, like right now with what you know about ball, with your knowledge on ball, you know a lot about fucking ball. Right now, after the 10-11 season, and without the hindsight that this man's gonna get fucking hurt, right? It is September in 2011, and you could make a fucking draft of whoever you want, right? Are you picking D Rose first?
No, I'll probably pick LeBron.
How many guys would you pick before D Rose?
At the honestly, probably 2.
LeBron and who?
LeBron and Kobe.
You're not picking Dwight after his monster season.
Mm-mm.
You're not picking Dwight.
Nah.
You're not picking Dirk after his ring.
Nah.
You're not picking Tim Duncan.
No.
You're not picking Tim Duncan.
Nah.
All right. Even
Tim Duncan was good.
Even if it's just for one season though, like I forgot to reiterate that. Like it's not like, oh, this is who you're gonna build around for the next 5 years. Like for that one season. So you're picking LeBron, Kobe. You're not picking Dwight for whatever reason. You just said.
Yeah, I'm taking.
Who else was the top player that year? You're not taking CP3. You're not taking Durant.
That he might be.
So LeBron, Durant, Kobe, right?
Durant might be 3.
Okay.
Like if we're just going, but then I don't know. Derrick Rose at that time was just like, it was just crazy. I mean, Durant has an argument because he was like, I think he was also like 22 or 21.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been like 22 and he led the league in scoring. So he might be the only one in that.
Kevin Durant was another guy better than D Rose that season. Thank you for pointing that out. So that's like,
Nah, not that season.
as a player in the world, I would rather have Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but you also had Russell Westbrook, who was all-star.
I wouldn't take Russ that time over D Rose yet. Not yet.
Oh no, obviously not. But,
but like what I'm saying, like fantasy draft, like My League, whatever. When you change the settings that you draft your team, give me LeBron, give me Kobe, give me Dwight, give me Durant, and then I'll have the argument of CP versus him. So that's borderline like 5 guys. So D Rose after the postseason of 2011, you can make an argument like shit. He might not be top 5 even though he won MVP. That's what I'm saying. That was strictly narrative based. You feel me? You taking Melo over him?
At that time, nah.
It's a debate. You have to at least admit it's a
debate.
The
only like pushback I give Kevin Durant is like he had more talent around him than D Rose at that time.
But it doesn't matter. I'm saying as a player, strictly a player, from what you saw them do as a player on both sides of the floor, playmaking, defense, scoring, where you could score from, all that bullshit, right? Rebounding, whatever. For their size, of course, as well. You not taking KD over D Rose.
Oh yeah, we're talking size, yeah, like.
But like strictly that year. But I'm saying like according to their size. No, but like when I said according to their size, I'm saying like when I said rebounding, I'm saying according to their size, like D Rose averaging 5 rebounds at that time is worth more than Durant averaging 7. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. Because D Rose is 6'2". You feel me? KD's 7 foot.
That's another reason why it's like really impressive that he was doing that.
But I don't even know if he averaged 5. I'm just saying like if he did average 5,
I don't think
he averaged like fucking 4.
Nah, I think he averaged like 3.5, 4.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is just basically like, look, like just looking at their skill sets, bro. There's a couple players you could take over D Rose just in that time after his MVP season. So it was after the finals. I know I threw Dirk's name out there. I was just naming people. I wouldn't take Dirk either over D Rose in a player ranking, even though he just won the finals against the Big 3. But strictly viewing them as players, not narrative wise, there's like 4 guys cemented better than him, and you could argue there's a 5th guy. And I could be forgetting people, bro. I mean, like the Big 3 Celtics were all old by that time, just going through every team. Stoudemire was not better than D Rose.
But when
Steve Nash was already too old, Jay Kidd was old, Danny Granger obviously is not better than D Rose ever one time in his life. Who am I fucking forgetting? Brandon Roy was not better than D Rose. Marcus Aldridge is not better than D Rose. Tim Duncan was not better than D Rose. TP, maybe you could argue it.
But
TP
let me
was really
ask you
fucking
something.
good.
When has the MVP never slightly had to do a little bit with narrative?
But no, that's what I'm saying. I'm admitting it. You feel me? It should be the best player in the fucking world, though. Which is why I said LeBron should have 5 or 6 minimum. When realistically, the guy should have like 8. You feel me? The guy should have like fucking 8 MVPs. Mike, you could argue, should have had like fucking 8, 10, whatever. You feel me? There's a lot. There's a couple guys. Those are the only 2 guys you could say they should have won more MVPs. Because at least with Magic and Bird, it's like 3 and 3 apiece. That's fair. They were equals. You feel me? Kobe, even though it rubs a lot of people the wrong way, he deserved 1 MVP. You feel me? You could argue for a second one, but at the end of the day, he was competing against Dirk, who was undoubtedly the best fucking player in the world in 2007. Tim Duncan, who you could argue should have had more MVPs, was incredible. He was phenomenal. KG in 2004 was the best fucking player in the world. Steve Nash in 2005, 2006. Steve Nash was the only threat to Dirk, right? And this is where narrative kind of comes into place as well. Because Dirk was the 1 seed. They won like 60-something games before they got beat by the 8 seed. And they didn't want I strongly think they didn't want Steve Nash to 3-peat MVPs. But he could have, right? But those guys were all at the same time, like on the same level. You feel me? LeBron, same level. Those guys are all on the same level. That's why I say Kobe deserved like 1. But to dominate a fucking decade like LeBron did, that man should have like 6 or 7 MVPs. He, as a player, he was better than D Rose that year. As a player, he was better than Harden in 2018. Shit, he was just a better player so many fucking years, bro. Is just the truth. That's why I say MVP should be the best fucking player in the world. That's why I disagreed with the Embiid shit this year, for example.
Yeah.
Embiid was not better than Giannis. He was not better than Jokic.
Oh yeah,
Either one of them should have their third
this
MVP.
year Embiid cried for that shit. And
That's what I'm saying. It should not be narrative based. The MVP should always be, this is the best fucking player in the world.
I think it's always going to be production mixed with narrative. And in 2011, Derrick Rose had the production, and the narrative just slightly fit in his favor. Just
more than anyone else.
More than anyone else, just because everything that the Bulls went from the season prior to that season. Even you say Kevin Durant, you would have took over him when he finally won MVP. You know why? Because Russell Westbrook was hurt the majority of that season, and
But he had the production.
Yeah, he had the production.
Even
like
if
I
Russ
said,
was there and he still averaged at 30 on 50, 40, 90. That's why I didn't say LeBron should have won MVP in 13-14. That's probably one of the few years I'm like, shit, that guy was just better than him. That and 15-16 Curry, that's the only 2 times where I'm like, I throw up my hands, I'm like, shit. During LeBron's probably like, you guys are just fucking better.
Yeah, because
but like 14-15, I'm taking LeBron over Curry. You feel me? I'm taking LeBron and KD over Curry in 14-15.
People always say Harden that year.
You could make an argument for Harden. I mean, they were equals that year.
Back to what I was saying. Yeah, 13-14 Kevin Durant, you had Westbrook who missed like the majority of that season, but you still had Kevin Durant giving you 32 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was stupid. Like it was undeniable that he was the MVP. Like, and his second best player was like Reggie Jackson.
But he didn't need narrative is what I'm saying. Just based on his production, my nigga, he did not need any narrative. When you average 32, fuck the narrative, bro. The narrative could be Russell Westbrook died. You feel me? That shit don't matter. But D Rose averaged 25. He did not lead the league in scoring. He didn't do something brand new. He was great. He didn't do something brand new like Russ with triple doubles. He didn't average a crazy amount of points, like 37 points per game, like Harden did, whatever the fuck he did, 36, 35, whatever. He didn't do some new shit we never seen before, you feel me? He was great. But I don't think there was ever a more narrative-driven MVP like given besides Embiid. It's like him and Embiid were strictly narrative-based. Everyone else, I would say, was fucking ability. And then, of course, MJ's, like the MVPs that he's missed out on.
Karl Malone.
That's narrative. That's voter fatigue.
Yeah, that's
more so than narrative. Those are two different things. But like strictly narrative, bro. Like those are the two most narrative-driven awards we've seen. I don't think like KD. You're saying KD, for example, 13-14. That's not narrative, bro. Whether Westbrook was there, whether
Yeah,
Westbrook
but
wasn't
the
there,
narrative
whether
in
Westbrook
it,
played 50 games, the man averaged 32 points. He was playmaking. He had a 50, 40, 90 fucking club. He was phenomenal. He led the league in scoring by far, bro. He was just phenomenal, narrative or not. Whether Westbrook was there or not, whether there was a narrative or something, bro. He was fine. Now, if he won it, because he averaged like 27, which is still great, 26, 27, not 50, 40, 90, shit like that, not really playmaking too much, and Westbrook was gone, that's narrative. But the man had supreme production, bro. That's one of the best offensive seasons we've seen, bro.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best offensive seasons in the past 20 years.
but it also is a boost when you're missing your second best player.
It's a small boost, but for his production blew the narrative out the water, is what I'm saying. D Rose was more so narrative driven than it was production driven because he's so fucking young. Like I said, hometown kid, 60 something games. What was it? 62 wins?
62 and 20, yeah.
62 wins. Your second guy is Luol Deng, averaging 17. Your guys are hurt. You got Thibs, whatever. You're mostly a defensive driven team. You really the sole guy, whatever, to do this and that, whatever. But he didn't lead the league in scoring, and he didn't do anything brand new. You feel me? A lot of MVPs we've seen, they did something we never seen before. Curry in 2015-16 did something we never seen. KD did something that's very hard to replicate. Harden averaged 35, 36 points per game. You feel me? 2012-13 LeBron was a fucking monster, and it wasn't even close. The gap between him and who was number 2, which was Kevin Durant. It was a big ass fucking gap that year. You feel me? So you either got to be the best player by far. In my opinion, you should either be the best player by far, or you got to do some shit we haven't seen before in a hot minute. That's the two things. Narrative, I don't give a fuck about narrative. You feel me? I don't
But
care about
it's
narrative.
always going to play a part.
It's always going to play a part, but my argument is there should be, narrative has no place in MVP discussions. Give it to the best fucking player in the world. And to me, it wasn't D Rose. D Rose was not a top 3 player that year. Solely as a player, he was not a top 3 player that year to me. I would take LeBron, I would take Dwight, I would take Kobe over him. And then I can make the argument for Durant as well that year. I would rather take Durant.
Nah, I wouldn't take Durant that year.
Durant was phenomenal, bro.
Yeah, Durant
Almost
was good
28 points per game. At that age, he led the league in scoring. I'll give him his respect, bro. I'll give him his respect. D Rose was great, bro. He was great, but I think it's a lot of nostalgia driven by it too. The discourse with him now. Eye test, like highlight wise, he was fucking fun. The dunk on Goran Dragic, it was fun. It was fun to watch. D Rose is some of the most fun I had watching basketball ever in my life. But solely just talking about the best player in the world for that year, it just was not him, bro.
I mean, you say they have to bring something new. I would argue that the new thing is not really doesn't really have to do with points or being the best player in the world, but like I don't know if we will see another player that just got swept in round 1 or bounced in 5, new coach, new turnaround, all this, dealing with injuries to your team, and then the next season you are undoubtedly, you guys are like overwhelmingly the number 1 team in the NBA, and you are the charge of that. You're the lead charge. That's like, I don't even know. That's like if Halliburton next year, Pacers are number 1 seed. He's an all-star, first team All-NBA.
So if Luka was to lose Kyrie, right, and they was to do some
I wouldn't
shit
even
like
say
that,
Luka. I would
is that
say
MVP?
I wouldn't even say Luka. I would say like because Luka, we've already seen him reach those MVP.
But I'm saying like he loses his second star, right, for the whole season. God forbid, Kyrie tears his ACL preseason.
Yeah.
Luka doesn't really have guys like that. He would have a supporting cast similar to that Bulls team.
Yeah.
He don't really got shit around him besides Kyrie. If he was to get top 2, 3 seed, are you just gonna give him MVP?
He's gonna be a heavy favorite, yeah.
But are you going to give it to him? If Jokic was to do the same thing he did last year, if Giannis was to do the same thing he did last year, are you personally, Justin Valen, are you giving him MVP?
If he's a top 1, 2 seed, I would probably put him in there.
Why? That's not something we've never seen before, because now you're saying D Rose is the only guy to do it. If someone replicates it, why should we give it to him? That's not nothing brand new.
Yeah, but this version is a little bit different because like we've seen the Mavericks we've seen them have success and be them reach the conference final. So we have that already in our heads. I'm going off of like a young player coming into the league, had no playoffs. All you had was like a cup of coffee in the first round, and then all of a sudden next year you're already one of the upper echelon teams in the league, and we did not see that coming. And you're an all NBA player, you're an all-star, like, and then postseason you're making deep playoff runs, like shit like that. Like that's something like, I guess people like to point to Iverson in 01.
Yeah, that's my point. So this is where I'm gonna fucking interrupt you. This is where you get packed up. This is why I roll you into a Marley. I grab the lighter and I light that shit up and I pack you up. It's not something brand new because Allen Iverson did the same shit, bro. He might have had 2 more years of experience, but what was his playoff success before 2001? Nothing. He ain't do shit in the playoffs. He might have played 1 playoff series before 2001. He's the sole offensive engineer on his team. He has no other offense around him. The man's just strictly defense around him, which is just like the Bulls thing. So it's not even strictly brand new. And he was scoring, of course, he had more volume. He was scoring way more than D Rose. You feel me? So where is it?
Way more, but
where is it that this D Rose thing is completely brand new?
He was a lot more inefficient than D Rose too, though.
Sure, but back then, you feel me? He was the guy. He was the guy in his team. Defense was a little bit tougher. The guy was packing dudes up. And that further pushes my narrative being too much. Because Shaq was still the best player in the world at that time. Shaq was better than Iverson. Tim Duncan was better than Iverson. There's no shame in being the 3rd best guy when it comes to Iverson that year. You have 2 top 10 players that were just better than you. But he got pushed through because of narrative. And he has the same exact thing. The D Rose story is a copy and paste of what Allen Iverson did. You feel me? And this is before even knowing what happens in the playoffs. So this isn't even about him taking the Lakers 1 game away from the Lakers when they almost went perfect. He did the same. D Rose did the same shit as Allen Iverson. He copied the formula, whatever, and so forth. Had the narrative behind him to win MVP. It's the same thing. He just wasn't as young as D Rose.
I wouldn't even say this the same thing because Philly was like, they were a higher seed than the Bulls like the year prior to Allen Iverson's MVP, and they went to the second round. What seed
were they?
They were the 5th seed.
They're the 5th seed. Yeah. Okay. But that was at his only playoff series before 2001.
No, prior to that, he went. What was it, 90?
I'm about to see right now because I really don't know.
I think it was 98. They went to the second round in 98, 99.
Because it's not even a gotcha. I really don't know because I know he was not in the playoff. He was not making deep playoff runs.
In 99, 2000, he went to round 2, and they were the 5th seed. And then, I think it was 98, 99. They went to the second round.
Yeah, 98, 99. Let's see. 98, but you can continue while I look at this. 98, 99. They beat the Magic.
They beat the Magic?
And then they got swept.
That was 98, 99?
98, 99. Okay. 99, 2000, they also made the second round. They got beat by the Pacers again. So he played 2 subpar teams in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter. He got more. He got, right, just based on that, he got more shit than D Rose did at that time. Just going off their 2 MVP seasons.
But D Rose had 2 fucking playoff series as well. D Rose made the playoffs 2 years as well. So they both made it 2 years. The only difference you're saying is one dude won 2 series, right?
Yeah.
But they both made the playoffs twice before.
Yeah, but that's the thing I'm saying though. The 2 times prior to D Rose's MVP, he was an 8th seed and got bounced in round 1. Yes, his rookie year is most famously known for taking that Celtics team to 7 games, and then the year after, he got gentlemen swept by the Cavs.
But that first year, he played 1 more game than Allen Iverson because they played best of 5 back then. So AI played 8 playoff games, and D Rose played 7. Yeah. Sure, the year after, both of their second years, AI played 10 games versus D Rose's 5. But that first year, because it was a best of 5 series, the guy only played 1 more game than D Rose in the playoffs. Was it another round? Sure, he got the taste of victory. He beat up Penny Hardaway, and no, not even Penny Hardaway. Who would have been on that team? I think that would have been Penny Hardaway just about to leave. He wasn't a Sun yet.
What year was that?
That was 98, 99.
Orlando Oh yeah.
There was no Grant. There was no T-Mac. It was probably just Penny on his last legs before he went to the Suns, right?
Yeah.
And then he got swept by Reggie Miller. So it's that he played one more game and that was it. You feel me? In that first year, did he get a series? Did he win a series? Sure, but strictly just going off games and experience, he played one more game. It's not a big difference. But it's the reason I say it's the same thing is because you said like the narrative, sole offensive guy. The structure around you is strictly defense. All these defensive guys that can't create their own bucket. And I'll argue, bro. I'll be honest with you. Luol Deng with AI. I don't like doing what ifs and shit, but that's a clear fucking upgrade on the offensive end, bro.
Oh,
I'm sure AI would kill somebody to have had Luol Deng as a second option. You feel me? So my thing is like, yes, two defensive first minded teams. That's very true. With one guy, one small guy being all of your offense, basically controlling your whole entire offense, whatever. But it's not something brand new, like you were trying to say before. It's not a brand new concept. We've seen it been done before. Those two guys they did it and it worked. But we've seen times where it doesn't fucking work.
I mean, the flip side to that is like Derrick Rose would love to have another ball handler. Like AI had Eric Snow and George Lynch.
I don't, bro. I don't think anybody in their right mind is trading Luol Deng for Eric Snow.
No, but I'm saying like you got to remember AI was a 2-guard.
Understandably so, and so yes, he was playing next to a point guard.
He didn't have all the ball handling duties. He did,
but he would trade Eric Snow for Luol Deng.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm saying
anyone would.
But I'm saying like D Rose did not have no he did not have no other ball handler. He was the only ball handler on that team.
So I guess this opens up a can of worms on. What do you value more, another ball handler or offensive production, which is a whole nother argument that we're not even going to start to have, because that would go out of control.
Obviously, I'd rather have the...
I know you're saying obviously, but I'll be real with you. You could make an argument for either one. It's not one is more important than the other. But in my opinion, with AI, I'm pretty sure he would prefer to be the sole ball handler and have some offensive production next to him. And I'm sure D Rose... I don't think D Rose would want another ball handler in favor of having fucking Luol Deng. Like Luol Deng was just so much better than Eric Snow. If Eric Snow was a great ball handler, playmaker, averaging, I don't know, fucking 14, 15 points, you have an argument. You feel me?
No, but I'm saying like I feel like it's so undervalued having a secondary ball handler.
100%.
Not even just to play with Derrick Rose, but like when he goes to the bench and to keep the offense afloat. Because like when Derrick Rose is going to the bench, nigga, you got CJ Watson and Keith Bogans in the game. Like, like that is not sustainable. Like, and this is a year before Rip Hamilton gets there. Kirk Heinrich, like they would have loved Kirk Heinrich on this team, but like Derrick Rose did not have that. Like Allen Iverson, yeah, you were saying he would love to be the sole ball handler, but like it'll leave some pressure if you have Eric Snow, George Lynch. Like those guys, they weren't household names, but like they were steady guys. Like those guys were like steady guys in the league, so they could keep shit afloat. Like especially when Allen Iverson had the task to go score the basketball, and that was his main job. You had guys like Eric Snow and George Lynch that were putting other guys in their spots, getting shooters open, driving in for gaps and getting other guys open. So like when you have that shit, it kind of eases some shit off you. But Derrick Rose didn't have that shit. He had to do all of that shit and more.
Yeah, but like I said, it's more of an argument on preference. Like, I know you're saying Eric Snow making plays for other guys to score besides AI, but for AI and his preferences, I'm sure he would have rather someone else that could fucking score for him. And I'm sure he would prefer to take over that duty of having to drive and kick to Luol Deng, because I'm sure he would have done it if he just had the personnel. He had no problem giving up some of the scoring responsibility, bro. We saw him do a Melo. He went from like a 32 point per game guy to 26, which is still elite, you feel me? But man, I think, I guess kind of to conclude this, I just think the award should go to the best player in the world. AI and D Rose are two guys seen in the same light. 2001, Shaq and Tim Duncan were two players that were better than AI. LeBron, Dwight, Kobe, in my opinion, were better players than D Rose. All three guys, even Kevin Durant, 3-4 guys that deserve the award if the MVP was strictly based on who is the best fucking player in the world.
Yeah. You said Tim Duncan, and I was just like,
But not like, no, I'm saying Tim Duncan in 2001 was better than
AI.
I
thought you meant Tim Duncan 2011. I was like,
No. 2001, like Tim Duncan, Shaq, we're better than AI. You know, it's not a secret. That's what I'm saying. Best player in the world should win MVP. That's my closing statement.
Nah, yeah, for me, like, it's never just going to be best player in the world. Like, as much as people want it to be, like, and yeah, in the back of my mind, sometimes I'm like, damn, I think LeBron should have got it in 18. But sometimes it just don't work out like that. But then you have other instances where, like, not only do the narratives work in your favor, but like you also had the production. Maybe not like all these other guys, but like you were able to uplift everyone. Just like, because like the way I see it, a lot of other people that may have been in the conversation or people believe deserved it more, they had the luxury of having things go their way, or like the rosters built a certain way for them where they could excel. For me, Derrick Rose did not have those same luxuries, but he was still able to uplift his team and put them into the upper echelon of teams in that early 2010s. So for me, that would be my closing statement.
That's a fair statement. Well, guys, it's gonna wrap it up for J&J for this time. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. It was a great talk. Even without too much news, really love that any discussion that we were able to have. We will see you guys next time. Peace.